20 years of war, a galaxy torn apart, and one mother, an alien queen who believed her daughter was lost forever, until a human warrior dared the impossible. She was gone, vanished on the battlefield, but fate had other plans. One human, fearless and relentless, crossed impossible odds, defied ancient powers, and brought her back from the edge of death itself. This is a story of courage that shatters expectations, loyalty that transcends species, and a force no empire could predict. Humanity, do not blink. Do not look away. Watch as humans rise against the impossible and change the fate of the galaxy forever. Click play now and witness the legend unfold. The war had left the galaxy in ruins. Planets once vibrant with life now floated as shattered husks, scarred by energy storms and firestorms of interstellar artillery. The alien queen, Jalira, stood on the observation deck of her flagship, her towering form silhouetted against the swirling chaos of a collapsing star system. Every heartbeat echoed in the cavernous metal chamber, each pulse heavy with grief. Her daughter, Elira, the pride of their empire, the heir to a legacy of conquest and wisdom, had been declared lost in the Battle of Iridian Prime. The battle had been brutal, a maelstrom of plasma storms, robotic legions, and monstrous bioweapons. Jalira watched the debris field, every fragmented ship a dagger to her heart, every transmission blacked out by enemy interference. Her senses, honed over centuries, detected the faintest fluctuation in the void. A flicker of life, a heartbeat that did not belong to her, resonated somewhere amidst the wreckage. She did not dare hope. Humanity had been underestimated for centuries. Their colonies were primitive, their fleets small, their technology almost quaint by galactic standards. Yet somehow, in the chaos, a human warrior had ventured where no one else could survive. His ship, battered and smoking, glided through the debris field like a predator among carrion. The sensors picked up a faint signal, almost imperceptible, encoded with a pattern she recognized immediately. Her daughter's biosignature. Jalira's clawed hands tightened on the railing. Human courage had defied everything. The thought made her pulse surge with a strange mixture of admiration and rage. The human, known as Marcus Kane, had fought his way through swarms of Iridian drones, through gravity storms that shredded entire fleets, and through monstrous bioconstructs that devoured alien soldiers whole. Every strike, every evasive maneuver had been precise, calculated, and relentless. And somehow, against all odds, he had reached Elira. Her daughter floated in a stasis cocoon aboard his vessel, wounds grievous, life signs unstable. Yet she lived. Jalira descended to the docking bay, the hum of her ship's engines mingling with the groans of metal under strain. The human approached her, his armor scorched, his eyes bright with determination that no trauma could extinguish. He handed over the life pod, the embodiment of humanity's unyielding spirit. "She fought harder than anyone I've ever faced," Marcus said, voice steady. Jalira's gaze pierced him. He had risked everything. No strategy, no fleet, no political allegiance had guided him. Only courage, intelligence, and compassion. Her daughter's eyes fluttered open, confusion and recognition mingling in the same moment. The reunion was not just maternal. It was the acknowledgement of a force Jalira had long ignored. Humanity. She had thought them fragile, their emotions a liability, their courage overrated. Now she saw the truth. They were unpredictable, unrelenting, and capable of feats that even her empire could not anticipate. Elira's recovery was painstaking. Every pulse of the stasis pod reverberated through the room. Every monitoring readout a lifeline in the delicate dance of survival. Marcus remained at her side, tending wounds, shielding her from every possible threat that remained in orbit. The alien queen watched this human, this singular force, and felt a tide of emotion she had never allowed herself to embrace. Gratitude, awe, and something akin to hope. Her empire would never be the same. The presence of humanity in this sector reshaped alliances, challenged old powers, and shifted the balance of the galaxy. As Elira's strength returned, she spoke, her voice hoarse yet filled with determination. "The humans, they are not what we expected," she said, her eyes locking onto her mother's. "They are more." Jalira's jaw tightened. The war was far from over. But a seed had been planted, a recognition that survival, courage, and intelligence could emerge from the most unexpected source. The human had not merely saved a life. He had ignited a revolution of thought, an undeniable truth that humanity was no longer a species to be underestimated. Outside, the stars shimmered like shattered diamonds, the galaxy itself a theater for the drama that was unfolding. Jalira, clench your fists. This war, these alliances, this fragile life. Everything was changing, and she would see the galaxy bend under the force of this new, unpredictable power. Marcus Kane stood silently, but his presence alone spoke volumes. Humans had crossed boundaries no one thought possible, and now they would witness the consequences of that courage. The alien queen took a step forward. Her empire waited for her command. Alira stumbled out, supported by Marcus, her body still weak, but her eyes burning with renewed purpose. Every step she took resonated with determination, the kind only those who had stared death in the face could carry. Jalira observed silently, the queen's instincts both maternal and tactical sharpening in unison. She had underestimated humanity before, but now she understood that courage was not measured in fleet size or energy output. It was measured in the willingness to defy impossible odds, to risk everything for what mattered. "Your wounds are severe," Jalira said, her voice low, reverberating in the docking bay. "Yet you survived," she added, almost to herself. Alira's gaze softened toward her mother, but she did not lower her guard. "The humans, they fought for more than strategy or territory," she said. "They fought for life, for loyalty, for what we thought impossible." Marcus straightened, the weight of the moment pressing on him. Yet he remained steady. He had faced alien warlords, psychic predators, and automated kill grids. Yet this moment, this intersection of two species, felt larger than any battle he had fought. Jalira's eyes flicked toward him. "You are human," she said, her tone equal parts curiosity and caution. "I am," Marcus replied, voice calm but unwavering. "Then you understand why this matters." In the silence that followed, the distant rumble of collapsing debris from the previous battle echoed like a haunting reminder. The galaxy was still in turmoil, still bleeding from the scars of countless wars. Yet here, in this small docking bay, a new possibility had emerged. Jalira had ordered a temporary ceasefire, allowing the human to leave and return with her daughter. She did not yet understand the full ramifications of that decision, but a part of her, deep, primal, and often buried, recognized that humanity had proven its worth beyond negotiation or diplomacy. The days that followed were filled with intensive recovery. Alira's wounds healed at a remarkable pace, guided by both alien medtech and Marcus's resourcefulness. The human introduced techniques Jalira's medics had never encountered. Improvised stimulation therapies, rapid cellular regeneration techniques derived from human ingenuity rather than pure technology. Every intervention carried a lesson, every successful maneuver a demonstration of humanity's adaptability. Jalira watched with a mixture of awe and calculation. Humans were unpredictable in every sense, yet that unpredictability made them an asset in ways her empire had never anticipated. One evening, as Alira rested in her chamber, Marcus stood by the viewport, looking out at the shattered planets and drifting war debris. "I have seen civilizations fall," he said quietly, almost himself. "Entire empires crumble under their own hubris. But humans, we survive because we refuse to surrender to expectation. We refuse to die quietly." Jalira, standing just behind him, did not comment immediately. Her empire had conquered, ruled, and subdued countless species, yet she could feel the undeniable truth in his words. Survival was not merely about strength. It was about courage, intelligence, and a willingness to challenge the impossible. The next mission came sooner than expected. Scouts reported a hidden Viridian fleet regrouping near the Nova Rift, a treacherous space anomaly known to shred ships and minds alike. No alien vessel dared approach the rift, for the gravitational fluctuations and temporal distortions tore fleets apart in moments. Yet Marcus volunteered. Jalira's advisors argued against it. "No human can navigate the Nova Rift," one insisted, "not without the loss of the ship and crew." Marcus remained calm. "They underestimate humanity again," he said. And we are not so easily counted out. Jalira, torn between maternal instinct and tactical necessity, gave her reluctant consent. The human ship, smaller than any cruiser in her fleet, slipped into the rift with astonishing precision. Every maneuver defied conventional physics, yet Marcus's instincts, combined with human ingenuity, allowed him to evade gravitational spikes, energy storms, and temporal echoes that had destroyed entire alien fleets. Inside the rift, the Viridian ambush awaited. Ships emerged from shadows like predators, their weapons primed to annihilate anything that moved. Yet Marcus did not hesitate. He engaged not with brute force, but with strategy. He exploited weaknesses no alien had considered, using the rift's chaotic energy to his advantage. Ships collided with each other, unable to maintain formation in the unpredictable currents of distorted space. Marcus struck precise targets, disabling command nodes and communication rays, forcing the Viridian to fight blind. The battle was fierce, a ballet of fire and shadow, yet when it ended, the Viridian fleet was shattered. Marcus emerged battered but unbroken. Jalira's sensors detected the aftermath and sent her emotions surging: pride, awe, and the gnawing realization that humanity had changed the rules of war forever. Alira, now recovered enough to stand beside her mother, watched the reports. "Humans do not fight like us," she said, eyes wide with wonder. "They improvise, they adapt, they sacrifice, yet they survive. They are not bound by tradition, fear, or expectation." Jalira remained silent, knowing the truth in her daughter's words. Humanity was unpredictable. Humanity was dangerous. And now, humanity was essential. In the days that followed, Jalira convened her council. All alliances were reconsidered, strategies rewritten. The presence of humans in this theater of war demanded new thinking, new tactics, and new respect. Marcus, though human and still technically a guest on her ship, was consulted at every turn. His insights, often counterintuitive, saved countless lives and prevented strategic blunders that could have ended entire campaigns. The galaxy, once certain of the alien empire's supremacy, now faced a force no one had anticipated. And Jalira, queen of a vast empire, could not deny the truth. Humanity was not only resilient, they were revolutionary. The first joint operation against the Viridian homeworld was announced. Aliens and humans would strike together, combining centuries of alien technology with human unpredictability. Alira would lead one fleet, Marcus another. Jalira would oversee the operation, but her trust in humanity had already begun to reshape her strategies. As the fleet gathered near the outer rim, stars stretching into streaks of light as faster-than-light engines roared, the Queen stood beside Marcus. "You have changed everything," she said, voice almost reverent. "I only did what any human would do," he replied, though even he understood the weight of his actions. The battle that awaited would test every limit, challenge every expectation, and redefine the balance of power across the galaxy. Yet in that moment, watching humans and aliens prepare side by side, Jalira allowed herself a rare, unguarded thought. Perhaps the future belonged not to the strongest empire, but to the species that refused to surrender to impossibility. And in the darkness between stars, one truth shone brighter than any weapon or fleet. Humanity, unpredictable, relentless, and courageous, had arrived. Marcus's ship, smaller than the alien cruisers, drifted at the edge of the formation, almost invisible yet vital. He ran his hands over the console, every touch precise, every decision calculated. His eyes, bright with anticipation, reflected the constellation of light scattered across the bridge. Beside him, Alira's fleet glowed with alien technology, hulls radiating with energy fields capable of annihilating entire planetary sectors. Yet the Viridian homeworld awaited, a fortress surrounded by plasma storms, gravitational anomalies, and defensive arrays designed to shred any conventional fleet. "This will not be easy," Alira said, her voice calm, yet her green eyes flickered with unspoken tension. Marcus turned, letting the hum of the engines and distant signals wash over him. "We have never done easy," he replied. Jalira's observation deck was alive with activity. Sensors beeped, displays flickered, and alien officers argued strategy in a cacophony of clicks, growls, and resonating tones. The Queen's gaze, sharp and unwavering, tracked every movement. Her daughter had survived the impossible, and now humanity had the chance to prove itself on a scale that could reshape the galaxy. The first strike team jumped into the Nova Rift, a hazardous shortcut that would allow them to bypass the Viridian outer defenses. Marcus guided his vessel through the shifting energy tides, twisting and turning where sensors warned a collapse, slipping through cracks in reality that could swallow ships whole. Around him, debris from previous attempts floated like specters of failure. Yet the human maneuvered flawlessly, instinct and intelligence blending into a symphony of precision. "Course stable," he muttered, scanning for anomalies, the hum of the engines syncing with his heartbeat. The fleet emerged near the Viridian orbital defense platforms, massive structures orbiting a planet bathed in red gas clouds and lightning storms. The enemy was ready, massive warships forming a barrier, their weapons trained to incinerate anything that dared approach. Aelira's ships charged forward with disciplined precision, energy cannons blazing, but Marcus had another plan. He veered his ship toward the edge of the battlefield, sending decoy signals and holographic projections, confusing the Viridian sensors. Small, agile, human ships darted in unpredictable patterns, weaving between the larger alien vessels, striking weak points no one else would have considered. The Viridian reacted with brutality, yet their strength was their rigidity, their predictability. Humans exploited it. Marcus launched microdrones, each carrying EMP bursts, disrupting shield generators with pinpoint accuracy. Aelira's fleet followed his lead, focusing fire on openings created by human ingenuity, annihilating key enemy vessels. Jalira watched the unfolding battle, her claws gripping the railing. Her Empire's ships moved like a synchronized wave, but it was a human's adaptability that broke the enemy's rhythm. Every tactic the Viridian relied upon was countered. Every expectation turned against them. Aelira communicated rapidly across the fleet, her voice calm but urgent. "Marcus, the central command array is exposed. We need a strike now." Marcus smiled grimly, feeling the familiar surge of adrenaline. "Copy that," he replied, weaving through debris and energy blasts. He targeted the command array with human precision, bypassing the Viridian defensive grids and planting a series of detonators that synchronized with Aelira's fleet assault. The explosion ripped through space, shattering the Viridian command node and sending ripples of chaos across their fleet. Ships collided, defensive shields collapsed, and panic rippled to the enemy ranks. Humans and aliens moved in tandem, a force that no one had anticipated, a storm of intelligence, courage, and unpredictability. Jalira allowed herself the faintest flicker of emotion, pride. Her daughter had survived impossible odds, and humans had proven that courage, strategy, and loyalty could reshape the galaxy itself. Yet the battle was far from over. Deep within the Viridian core, ancient powers stirred, energies older than most civilizations, capable of bending reality and unraveling the minds of intruders. Sensors detected a surge of psychic energy, a massive wave rippling outward, threatening to destabilize the battlefield. Aelira's eyes widened. "This is not just a fleet," she said, voice trembling. "It is a weapon older than the stars." Marcus gritted his teeth. He had faced impossible before, yet this presence radiated a force unlike anything he had encountered. It was raw, ancient, and intelligent, as if the very planet itself resisted their intrusion. "We adapt," he said simply. The humans aboard his ships adjusted their tactics instantly, forming patterns that leveraged every anomaly, every distortion, every weakness the Viridian energy presented. They moved faster, striking more precisely, exploiting openings that conventional logic could not perceive. Aelira followed, her fleet synchronizing with human ingenuity, transforming their raw power into surgical precision. The Viridian fleet faltered, unable to maintain cohesion under the unpredictable assault. For every weapon fired, for every maneuver attempted, humans countered with creativity, with instinct, with courage. In the center of the battlefield, Marcus piloted his ship directly toward the core, risking destruction to plant a destabilizing charge designed to disrupt the Viridian psychic energy. Aelira followed close behind, her fleet providing cover, her energy shields deflecting lethal strikes that would have destroyed lesser ships. The core roared, a massive sphere of red and black energy, pulses radiating like a heartbeat of the planet itself. Marcus's ship weaved through gravitational distortions, energy spikes lancing past the hull, yet his hands moved with uncanny precision, guided by instinct, intelligence, and relentless courage. The destabilizing charge deployed, sending a shock wave through the core. The planet quaked, energy pulses fractured, and the Viridian fleet collapsed in confusion and disarray. Victory was within reach. Aelira's voice rang across the comms, fierce and triumphant. Pull back. Human ingenuity has broken them. Marcus maneuvered his ship, dodging collapsing structures, debris, and residual energy waves. The fleet regrouped, battered but alive, standing victorious over an enemy that had seemed invincible. Jalira stood on the observation deck, silent but resolute. Humanity had not only saved her daughter, they had shattered a seemingly indestructible power, changing the calculus of the galaxy forever. The Queen's advisors whispered, astounded, recalculating every assumption they had held about humans. Aelira, recovered from her near-death ordeal, looked at Marcus, her expression a mixture of gratitude and awe. "You are extraordinary," she said, voice firm, "and not merely for what you did today. You embody the spirit of your species." Marcus shook his head. "Humans survive. We adapt. We fight when everything seems lost. That is all we do. That is all we are." Jalira stepped forward, the full weight of her presence filling the room. "You have proven one undeniable truth," she said, her voice resonating across the chamber. "Humanity is a force unlike any other, fearless, relentless, and impossible to predict. The galaxy had changed, not because of empires or fleets, but because of a single species willing to risk everything for courage, loyalty, and life itself. Outside, the stars burned with new intensity, a testament to the unyielding will of humans and the bond forged between two species that had once been divided by war. And in that moment, as the fleet drifted toward the next horizon, one truth became clear. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of an unstoppable force. The aftermath of the battle left the fleet hovering above the Viridian homeworld, debris drifting like frozen stars against the crimson gas clouds. Aelira's fleet was battered, some ships barely holding together, yet the morale of every crew member soared. They had witnessed a human alter the course of a galactic battle with nothing but courage, strategy, and intuition. Jalira moved through the command deck, her presence magnetic, each step echoing like a drumbeat across the chamber. She watched her daughter interact with the human fleet commander, studying his every move, calculating, learning, and somehow trusting him instinctively. "He is remarkable," Aelira whispered as they moved past the holographic maps, plotting the next phase of their campaign. Jalira nodded, her claws brushing against the console, fingertips tracing the energy flows of the damaged fleet. "Yes," she said quietly, "but it is not merely skill. It is a spirit. Humanity is unpredictable, relentless, and unconstrained by convention. That is why they survive, and why they conquer in ways we have never imagined." Marcus stood at the edge of the command center, scanning reports and sending instructions, his mind already 3 steps ahead of every enemy movement. The Viridian, though temporarily defeated, were not destroyed. Their remaining forces retreated toward a hidden fortress deep within a nebula, a place rumored to house ancient weapons of psychic devastation, artifacts older than recorded history. "Intel suggests they possess the Void Shard," Aelira said, pointing at a swirling mass on the holographic display. The shard pulsed with unstable energy, bending light and gravity around it, a lethal core capable of annihilating an entire fleet in seconds. Marcus studied it, lips pressed tight, mind racing. "Then we neutralize it before they can use it," he said, voice calm yet forceful. Aelira hesitated. The Void Shard had consumed entire civilizations before. No traditional fleet could hope to approach it. Marcus tilted his head. "Human ingenuity does not rely on traditional fleet power," he said simply. Jalira felt a flicker of unease in her chest. These humans, small in stature and numbers, could do what no alien had done in centuries: defy the impossible. Preparations for the assault began immediately. Human engineers modified alien ships, integrating adaptive shielding and rapid deployment drones capable of navigating the unpredictable void. Aelira led the alien fleet with precision, while Marcus took command of the strike team, comprised of both humans and specially trained alien operatives. Their target, the Viridian citadel hidden within the nebula's shadows, with a void shard weighted like a predator. The approach through the nebula was treacherous. Ion storms lashed against the fleet, tearing at hulls and frying navigational systems. Energy vortices twisted reality, making conventional weapons unreliable. Yet humans thrived in chaos. Marcus piloted through the storm with uncanny instinct, weaving between ion streams and gravitational anomalies as if the void itself bent around him. His team followed suit, every maneuver precise, every calculation intuitive yet flawless. Aelira's fleet held formation behind him, shields adapting dynamically to protect the fragile human vessels at the forefront. They emerged into a region where reality itself seemed thin, a massive cavern of plasma and psychic energy. The Viridian citadel loomed ahead, jagged towers pulsating with the energy of the void shard. Defensive arrays bristled with weapons capable of annihilating anything within kilometers. Aelira's eyes widened. "This is not just a fortress," she said, voice trembling with awe. "It is a living weapon." Marcus's jaw tightened. "Then we treat it as one," he said, hands fly over the controls, coordinating drones and energy bursts. The assault began. Human drones darted ahead, invisible to enemy sensors, sabotaging energy nodes, and creating openings for the alien fleet. Every move defied conventional logic, striking weak points no alien strategist would have predicted. Viridian warships countered with relentless force, plasma streams cutting through space like molten lightning. Yet Marcus's team adapted. Every attack met with instant recalibration. The void shard pulsed, sensing the intrusion, its energy rippling outward in waves of psychic distortion. Aliens screamed in agony as their minds brushed against the shard's ancient consciousness, yet humans endured. Their brains compensated, instinct and creativity shielding them from the psychic onslaught in ways no alien mind could manage. Marcus gritted his teeth as the energy waves hit his vessel. "Focus on patterns, not force," he ordered, voice calm despite the chaos. His ship maneuvered with surgical precision, exploiting the shard's instability, striking nodes that destabilized its energy core. Aelira's fleet surged forward, firing in coordination, each blast amplified by human insight and alien power combined. The citadel trembled. Towers collapsed, energy cores overloaded, and the void shard screeched, a sound that resonated across the nebula, bending light and sound alike. In the final moments, Marcus piloted a human vessel directly into the shard's containment field, deploying a quantum-disruptor design to nullify the ancient energy. The device activated, cascading pulses of anti-energy tearing through the shard's core. The Viridian citadel exploded in a kaleidoscope of light and destruction, gravitational waves rippling across the nebula. Ships rocked violently, debris raining in all directions, yet every human and alien survived, pulled together by precise calculations, courage, and trust. As the debris cleared, Jalira surveyed the destruction, her eyes narrowing with satisfaction. Humans had done what her empire's fleets could not: destroy the impossible, survive the unthinkable, and emerge victorious. Aelira approached Marcus, her expression a mixture of awe and gratitude. "You have done the impossible," she said, voice trembling yet fierce. Marcus shook his head, a small smile breaking across his face. "No, we did together," he said. "And humans, we just refused to stop." The fleet regrouped, battered but triumphant, drifting among the remnants of a shattered enemy stronghold. The galaxy had witnessed a new force, one that could not be measured by fleets, weapons, or strategy alone. Humanity had proven its worth, its ingenuity, and its unyielding courage. Jalira, standing beside her daughter, allowed herself a rare moment of reflection. Her empire, her strategies, her understanding of war, they had been reshaped by a species she once dismissed. Humans had altered the very fabric of galactic warfare, and they had done so with nothing but courage, intelligence, and a refusal to accept the impossible. In the quiet aftermath, as the fleet drifted to the nebula, stars stretching like frozen fire, Jalira realized a truth that would echo across centuries. The galaxy would no longer be ruled solely by empires. It would be shaped by those with the will to survive, to innovate, and to challenge the boundaries of reality itself. And in that truth, humanity would always stand at the forefront, unpredictable, relentless, and unstoppable. Marcus stood at the edge of his vessel, eyes scanning the horizon. Lyra stood beside him, now fully recovered, her eyes reflecting both gratitude and respect. Jalira observed them both, the weight of history pressing against her shoulders. The galaxy had changed. Alliances would be rewritten. Empires would be recalculated. Destinies would shift. And humans, small, unpredictable, courageous, had become the fulcrum of that change. The future awaited, vast, uncertain, and dangerous. Yet for the first time in centuries, hope burned brighter than any weapon, brighter than any star. The alien queen had been proven wrong. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, and that underestimation would cost everyone who dared to ignore it. The nebula faded behind them, and the stars ahead stretched endlessly, a canvas of the next chapter of human-alien alliance, daring missions, and battles that would define the fate of entire civilizations. News traveled faster than any ship could fly, transmitted through encrypted human networks and alien relays alike. Every intelligence report, every strategic council meeting, now had a single unignorable variable: humanity. Jalira stood on the bridge of her flagship, her form silhouetted against the expanse of glittering stars. Her daughter, Lyra, hovered nearby, still absorbing the reality that the humans had done the impossible. Not once, but repeatedly. Marcus stood at the central console, scanning the aftermath reports, his mind already calculating the next move. Even victorious, the Viridian threat remained. Their surviving forces had retreated to the outer edge of the galaxy, to a sector rumored to house ancient alien powers, long forgotten and protected by the cruelest traps the universe could conceive. "This will not be easy," Lyra said, tracing the map with her clawed fingers. "The Viridian will use every secret, every weapon, every distortion in reality to halt us." Marcus leaned over her shoulder, eyes narrowing at the shifting readings. "Then we do what humans do best," he said. "Adapt, improvise, and survive where others fail." Jalira's gaze softened, a rare trace of maternal pride mixing with strategic calculation. Humans thrived in chaos, their unpredictability a weapon far more dangerous than any fleet or weapon system. The next mission began immediately. Reconnaissance teams, human and alien, scouted the uncharted territory beyond the galaxy's edge. Asteroid belts shimmer with unstable energy fields, gravity wells twisted like knots in space, and dark matter storms created illusions that disoriented conventional navigation. Marcus piloted through these perils with instinctive precision, every decision a mix of experience, intuition, and daring. Human adaptability turned the impossible into opportunity. The fleet followed, moving in patterns that defied conventional logic, confusing any sensor or tracker that might have pursued them. They emerged above a planet unlike any other, an ancient world wrapped in magnetic storms and a swirling aura of psychic energy. "Here lies the Viridian stronghold," Lyra whispered. The planet pulsed, alive with energies older than most species could comprehend. Sensors detected massive constructs hovering in orbit, their surfaces etched with glyphs that radiated raw power. Jalira's instincts screamed caution, yet humans did not flinch. Marcus studied the readings, his fingers dancing across controls, improvising shields and countermeasures in real time. "This is not about firepower," he said. "This is about intelligence, precision, and courage. Every move counts. Every instinct matters." The fleet descended through the storms, energy arcs lashing across shields, hulls groaning under pressure. The ancient constructs fired in unison, beams of psychic energy slicing through space. Alien tactics failed. Shields buckled, ships faltered. Marcus adjusted instantly, recalculating trajectories, deploying drones that acted as decoys, and firing precise bursts that disrupted the construct's energy flow. Lyra followed, her fleet aligning to exploit every opening created by human ingenuity. The Viridian forces, confident in the ancient weapon's power, were blindsided. No strategy, no formation could anticipate the chaotic brilliance of human intervention. The battle intensified as the fleet moved closer to the planetary surface. Energy storms erupted from the planet itself. Gravity spikes tore ships apart, and reality-warping distortions threatened to shred both flesh and mind. Yet humans adapted. Marcus piloted a squadron directly into distortions, using velocity and momentum to stabilize his ships against forces that defied physics. Drones infiltrated the planetary defenses, neutralizing psychic amplifiers and ancient weapon nodes. Aelira's fleet surged forward, each alien vessel guided by human strategy, striking with precision that no Viridian mind could predict. The planet convulsed as energy cascaded across its surface, yet the human-alien force pressed onward. Marcus's team identified the core, the source of the planet's psychic energy. A massive crystal floated within a chamber larger than any city, pulsating with unimaginable power. "This is the Void Nexus," Marcus said, voice tight with concentration. "The source of their psychic manipulation. If we destabilize it, the planet and the Viridian lose their advantage." Aelira's green eyes widened. "No conventional strike can touch it," she said. Marcus smiled faintly. "Then we do it unconventionally." Human engineers had constructed a specialized device, a quantum destabilizer capable of resonating with the crystal's energy, neutralizing it without triggering a planetary collapse. Marcus piloted directly toward the chamber, navigating gravitational distortions, psychic interference, and orbital defenses. Every second counted. One misstep could annihilate the fleet or trap them forever in temporal flux. He deployed the device with surgical precision. The Void Nexus shuddered, energy waves pulsing outward, tearing at the planet's crust. Yet the destabilizer held. The Viridians shrieked in fury, psychic waves lashing at intruders, but humans endured. Their minds adapted, instinct overriding fear, creativity countering chaos, courage anchoring them where logic would fail. The crystal cracked, splintering into fragments that rained down across the planet's surface. Aelira's fleet unleashed coordinated strikes, eliminating surviving enemy nodes. The planet itself convulsed one final time, then fell silent. Victory was absolute. Jalira stood on the observation deck, watching the planet shrink into the distance, a mix of awe, pride, and cautious respect filling her senses. Humans had done what no empire, no fleet, no ancient power could achieve. They had turned the tide of impossible odds into triumph. Aelira approached Marcus, her eyes reflecting the energy of 100 victories. "You have changed everything," she said. Marcus shrugged, humility mixing with the exhilaration of success. "No," he replied. "We survived. We adapted. We did what humans do." Jalira stepped forward, voice resonating through the bridge. "Humanity is no longer a species to underestimate," she said. "They are unpredictable, fearless, and capable of reshaping reality itself. The galaxy will remember this day." The fleet regrouped, battered but alive, drifting among the remnants of the Viridian Empire's ancient technology. Human ingenuity, courage, and adaptability had not only saved lives, they had rewritten the rules of galactic warfare. As the stars stretched across the void, Jalira realized an undeniable truth. The galaxy's future belonged not to the strongest empire, but to the species that refused to accept the impossible. And humanity, small, unpredictable, and unstoppable, had firmly claimed its place at the forefront of that future. Marcus stood at the edge of the flagship's observation deck, eyes scanning the horizon for the next challenge. Aelira joined him, her fleet still shimmering in the distance. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and filled with ancient powers waiting to be discovered. Yet for the first time in millennia, hope burned brighter than fear, stronger than any weapon, and wilder than any storm. The alien queen had been proven wrong. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, and every star ahead promised a new challenge, a new battle, and another chance for humans to show why they were the most unpredictable and formidable force in existence. The fleet surged forward, engines blazing, toward uncharted sectors, unknown threats, and impossible challenges. Even Jalira, queen of one of the most powerful empires, could feel it in the vibrations of her flagship's hull. Humans were no longer a minor factor to observe. They were a force that dictated strategy, demanded respect, and challenged the very laws of the cosmos. Aelira stood on the observation deck beside her mother, staring at the stars that stretched endlessly before them, each one a potential battlefield, a mystery, or a threat. Marcus stood quietly nearby, scanning incoming intelligence from the far reaches of the galaxy. The Viridian had been defeated, their citadel destroyed, their ancient weapons neutralized. Yet rumors persisted. Echoes of civilizations older than the stars themselves, repositories of power capable of reshaping entire sectors, and guardians who had existed long before either species. The galaxy is full of secrets, Aelira said softly, and some of them are not meant to be discovered. Marcus nodded. Humans have a way of finding things no one else sees, he said, and we have a way of surviving what no one else could endure. Jalira's eyes narrowed. Her empire had conquered countless species, had assimilated technology, and bent civilizations to their will. Yet humans were different. They did not follow logic or precedent. They adapted, improvised, and thrived in the chaos where even her most brilliant tacticians failed. The next operation required precision beyond anything previously attempted. Reports indicated that a long-abandoned sector contained artifacts of untold power, remnants of a civilization whose technology blurred the line between matter and thought. No alien fleet had dared approach it for centuries. Those who had vanished without a trace. Yet Marcus volunteered. Of course. Aelira's eyes widened in disbelief. This is beyond dangerous, she said. Marcus smiled faintly. Then it is exactly where humans belong. Jalira allowed the mission. Human determination, she had learned, was the only thing predictable about their unpredictability. The fleet prepared meticulously. Human engineers worked with alien scientists to construct shielding, navigation algorithms, and adaptive drones designed to operate in environments hostile to conventional life. Every step was calculated, yet every step relied on intuition, a uniquely human trait that no simulation could replicate. They entered the abandoned sector. Stars hung like frozen fire against the void, their light distorted by energy fluctuations. Nebulae pulsed with strange magnetic rhythms, interfering with conventional navigation. Asteroids drifted, some alive with radiation storms capable of tearing ships apart. Yet Marcus piloted with flawless instinct, weaving between hazards, adjusting course as if the void itself bent to his will. The fleet followed, alien vessels relying on human-calculated trajectories to survive the deadly environment. They reached the central planet, long dead, its surface scarred by ancient warfare, orbiting like a grave marker among drifting asteroids. The planet pulsed faintly with residual energy. This is it, Marcus said. Whatever is here, it is active. The fleet descended through turbulent energy fields, navigating storms of radiation, debris, and temporal distortions. Alien officers panicked at the unpredictable fluctuations, yet humans remained calm, adjusting in real time. Every drone, every maneuver, every tactical choice demonstrated the human capacity to survive where logic and tradition failed. As they reached the planet's surface, massive constructs emerged, artificial guardians shaped like colossal serpents of living metal, their bodies coiled around energy towers that extended into clouds. Weapons discharged, ripping through space with precision engineered over millennia. Aliens faltered under their fire. Marcus and his squadron reacted instantly, weaving through the barrage, deploying micro-drones that struck weak points and disrupted the energy flow of the Guardians. Aelira coordinated her fleet to exploit the openings, delivering devastating firepower. Yet the planet's defenses were adaptive. Every move triggered new countermeasures. Every attack reshaped the battlefield. Humans adapted faster. Marcus piloted directly into a narrow energy gap, a route no alien pilot would risk. He deployed an advanced destabilization field that resonated with the Guardian's energy lattice, causing a cascading overload. The serpentine constructs writhed, coils cracking, energy discharges erratic, as the humans struck with precision and timing that defied conventional expectation. The planet itself reacted violently, earthquakes splitting the ground, energy storms swirling overhead, yet the human-led strike team pressed on. Inside the central chamber, they found the source, a massive crystalline nexus, pulsing with raw, ancient energy. This is the core of thought, Marcus said, voice steady despite the hum of power that shook the ground. Aelira's eyes widened. No weapon in the galaxy can destroy it, she said. Marcus shook his head. Then we do what humans do. We change the rules. He deployed a human-engineered quantum destabilizer designed to interface with the Nexus's energy frequency, neutralizing it without triggering a planetary collapse. The device pulsed, resonating with the crystal, absorbing and redirecting its energy. The nexus screamed, vibrations lancing through space, yet humans endured. Aliens struggled to maintain control as psychic feedback surged through the fleet. Marcus adjusted in real time, coordinating human and alien efforts with split-second precision. The crystal fractured, shards scattering like diamonds across the surface. Energy cascaded outward, nullifying the planet's defenses, and the Guardians collapsed motionless. The fleet regrouped, battered but alive, the dead planet now quiet, its secret seized. Jalira stood silently on the observation deck, awe and disbelief etched across her features. Humans had done what centuries of alien strategy could not. They had conquered the unconquerable. Alira approached Marcus, eyes filled with respect and wonder. "You have reshaped history," she said softly. Marcus shook his head, humility tempered with triumph. "No, humans just survive. We adapt. We do not surrender to the impossible." Jalira stepped forward, voice echoing across the bridge. "The galaxy underestimated humanity," she said. "But now we understand. They are not merely a species. They are a force, unbound by expectation, relentless and unstoppable." The fleet turned toward the next horizon, engines blazing, lights cutting through the darkness. Stars stretched infinitely ahead, each one potential battlefield, a new mystery or a hidden danger. Yet humanity had proven itself, not only to the aliens but to the galaxy itself. Every challenge ahead was an opportunity. Every ancient weapon, every forbidden technology, every unknown civilization would face the unpredictable brilliance, courage, and determination of humans. The alien queen allowed herself a rare thought. Perhaps the future did not belong to empires, fleets, or power alone. Perhaps it belonged to the species that refused to yield, that thrived in chaos, and that turned the impossible into triumph. And humanity, small, fearless, ingenious, stood at the forefront of that future. Marcus gazed out at the stars, a faint smile on his face. He did not fear the galaxy's mysteries. He did not doubt the battles to come. For he knew one truth that no weapon, no empire, no prophecy could change. Humans survive. Humans endure. Humans defy the impossible. And the galaxy would never, ever forget it. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, a black canvas painted with streaks of light, distant suns and shattered worlds. The fleet, humans and aliens alike, moved together in perfect harmony, each ship a testament to resilience, courage, and the capacity to defy the impossible. Jalira, queen of the strongest empire in this sector, stood on the observation deck of her flagship, silent, still, and contemplative. Beside her, Alira, alive, thriving and stronger than ever, gazed at the endless expanse of space. Marcus Kane stood apart, yet not alone. His presence commanded attention, but not by authority or empire. It was a quiet force of determination, intelligence, and unyielding courage that had reshaped the galaxy. They had defeated the Viridian. They had neutralized ancient powers. They had survived where every strategy, every prediction, every expectation had said they would fail. And through it all, humans had endured, not because of technology, not because of fleets, but because of something deeper, something innate, a refusal to surrender, a brilliance born from adaptability, and courage that transcended fear itself. The galaxy had been altered. Entire civilizations, once indifferent or hostile to humanity, now reconsidered every assumption. The notion of human weakness had been obliterated. The legend of Marcus Kane, the human who had navigated impossible voids, defied ancient powers, and stood at the forefront of victory, spread like wildfire. Yet Marcus did not dwell on fame. He had learned long ago that survival was about action, not recognition. Courage was measured in deeds, not titles. Alira approached him quietly, her voice soft but carrying weight. "You changed everything," she said. Marcus shook his head, the faintest smile brushing his lips. "No, humans did," he said. "Every human who refused to give up, every human who risked everything to save another, that is what changed the galaxy. I was just one of many." Jalira, listening from the observation deck, allowed herself a rare moment of reflection. Her empire had ruled with power and strategy, yet humans had shown her something that no weapon, fleet, or plan could achieve: the ability to alter destiny itself. The bonds forged between species during the battles had transformed old hostilities into alliances, distrust into respect, and fear into admiration. Every human in the fleet carried that spirit: unyielding, unpredictable, brilliant. The galaxy, once certain in its hierarchies and calculations, now faced an uncertain future, one in which humanity's ingenuity and courage would shape outcomes no prophecy could predict. "Mother," Illyra said softly, turning to Jalira, "they are unlike anything we imagined. They survive everything, yet they do not seek conquest the way we have. They fight for what is right, for loyalty, for life itself." Jalira nodded slowly, her eyes distant, thoughtful. "Yes," she said, voice quiet but powerful. "They do not conquer for glory, nor for fear. They conquer by courage, by intellect, and by heart." Marcus moved to the railing of the observation deck, his gaze fixed on the stars beyond, stretching toward uncharted regions of space. "There will be more challenges," he said quietly. "Ancient civilizations, unknown powers, and threats beyond imagination. But we will face them. Humans always do." Illyra placed a hand on his shoulder, the bond of shared trials and respect palpable. "And we will face them together," she said, her voice firm. Jalira allowed herself a rare smile, sharp and radiant. "The galaxy is no longer ours alone," she said. "It belongs to all who can shape it, and humanity has earned a place at the forefront." The fleet drifted silently for a moment, the enormity of what had been achieved settling in. Every life saved, every victory won, every impossible obstacle overcome had been the product of human ingenuity and courage. And yet, humanity did not boast. They simply continued, preparing for the next horizon, the next challenge, the next impossible task that awaited them in the infinite darkness of space. Marcus spoke again, voice carrying across the bridge, calm but unwavering. "We have proven one truth across the stars," he said. "Humans survive. Humans endure. Humans defy the impossible. And the galaxy must learn to respect that." Illyra's fleet slowly adjusted its formation, preparing to return to the core sectors, but the energy and determination within them had been irrevocably transformed. The Viridian, defeated and fragmented, would reconsider any thought of aggression. The alien queen's empire would adopt new strategies, inspired by the courage and ingenuity of a species once considered minor and insignificant. The galaxy itself had shifted, not merely in alliances or military might, but in the understanding of what true power could be. Humanity had redefined it. In the quiet aftermath, Jalira watched her daughter converse with the humans. Their dialogue flowed with mutual respect and understanding. No empire could have forged such a bond. No strategy could have achieved the same result. Only courage, loyalty, and brilliance born of imperfection and creativity could have accomplished what had been done. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, reflecting the light of hope, unity, and possibility. The battles had been won, the impossible achieved, and the future rewritten. Yet humanity did not rest on its laurels. Every challenge faced had revealed new questions, new threats, and new mysteries that required exploration, courage, and action. Marcus stood at the center of the command deck, hands resting lightly on the railing. He had fought battles that would be sung about for centuries, navigated voids where no mind could comprehend the risks, and faced enemies older than the stars themselves. And yet, he remained focused on the horizon, knowing that survival demanded constant vigilance, that courage required constant action, and that humanity's spirit could never be constrained. Jalira's gaze lingered on him, and she realized something profound. It was not brute force. It was not fleets. It was not even the most advanced technology that made humans a force to be reckoned with. It was the mind, the heart, and the courage to face the impossible every single time, no matter the odds. Illyra joined Marcus at the railing, looking outward into the galaxy. "Do you think the other civilizations will understand?" she asked softly. Marcus shook his head with a small smile. "Perhaps not immediately," he said, "but they will learn. They always do. Humans cannot be ignored. They cannot be predicted. And they will always survive." Jalira stepped closer, placing a hand on Aelira's shoulder. "The galaxy will remember this day," she said. "Not for the destruction, not for the battles, but for the courage, ingenuity, and unbreakable spirit of humans." Silence fell for a moment, filled with the hum of engines, the soft crackle of energy shields, and the distant light of 1,000 stars. It was a silence of reflection, of understanding, and a profound respect. The galaxy had been shaped by humans, and nothing could erase that truth. Marcus looked down at his crew, human and alien alike, and nodded. "Prepare to return to core sectors," he said, voice steady. "New alliances will be formed, new threats will be faced, and we will continue. Humans never stop. Humans never surrender. And we will meet every challenge, every obstacle, every impossible scenario head on." Aelira's voice carried across the deck, resolute and inspired. "We will go together," she said, "and humanity will lead where courage is needed most." Jalira allowed herself a final thought, rare and unguarded. Perhaps the galaxy had been too focused on strength, on empires, on power measured in fleets and weaponry. Perhaps it had forgotten the simplest, yet most powerful truth of all. Courage, creativity, and the willingness to defy impossible odds. Those are the traits that shape history, reshape civilizations, and redefine destiny. Humans embodied those traits more than any other species Jalira had ever encountered. And now, they had claimed their place in the galaxy, not through fear, not through domination, but through spirit. The stars ahead beckoned, vast, dangerous, filled with the unknown. Yet humanity would face it all, together with allies, with courage, and with the indomitable force of heart and mind. Marcus Kane glanced at the stars, a quiet determination in his gaze. "Whatever comes," he said softly, "humanity will endure. Humanity will survive. Humanity will rise." And as the fleet surged forward, engines blazing, cutting through the infinite darkness of space, one truth shone brighter than any star, brighter than any weapon, and louder than any fleet. Humans had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same again.